Hello everyone, this is Lucas Griglinus and today I'll be presenting my web inventory system. Before I can actually present it, I want to start it up. And why I want to show that is to show evidence that when it starts up, it opens a port at 8080 and has successfully connected to my database. Which, when we go to that port, it brings us to the login page, where we have our form to type in our username and password. So, firstly, let's try admin 123456789 and when we click login, it will provide us in with a invalid credentials. Which why did I do this? This is to show that when the user incorrectly puts in their password, it will provide that error message. The password that they should have written for this account is Sedbury, which when we that happens, it brings us to the hub where it's presented us with three buttons leading into their own respective features. Warehouse is currently in development, so there is nothing there currently. But if we move on to the finance report section, this is where the user sees what's the most popular item with this pie chart, which when hovered over shows how many has been sold and can be filtered by clicking on the names above for easy access to find specific items. This stage is currently under development as upscaling issues would be a problem, as when there's so many items sold, the pie chart would get too accumulated, providing too much information to the user, which could be difficult to understand what is going on. While also presenting to the user the best items to repurchase due to the popularity slash the frequency of purchase and how much they cost to buy and sell on the market again. Sadly, it's still in development, but to the main feature and last section is the storage, where you can see the front storage, back storage, and our add item, add category, and delete category. If you already noticed, why does my table rows have different colors? Well, it's a way to indicate when an item has no stock left, it turns red to show that there's nothing left. Like this red top. When an item is under a threshold, which I have put as 100, it makes the row yellow. Else, it's just the default color of white or gray, as you can see from the other items. For the user to view an item, you just need to click on a table row corresponding to the item you want to inspect. Like, for example, slim fit jeans, or let's say brownies, which presents the information of the image, ID, name, price, category it's associated with, the weight, how much there is in that front storage inventory, and some notes. We also have the update item and delete item. When you click the delete item when they're still in stock, it throws you an error message saying you can't delete that item due to stock being present, which is a security net to prevent accidental deletion of items. But when we click the update item, a new modal pops up showing the current values of the item we just had and user input boxes for us to change any attributes of the item. For example, I want these brownies to be cheaper. Let's say £24, but keep everything else. We click Save Changes, go back to brownies, and now it's £24. And for the next bit, we will look at the filters on how to actually accurately search for specific items you want. The first bit is for the search item, where the user would type in what they want to find, like for example, brownies. It will only present brownies. If you try and find something that's not in the inventory, like say chocolate, milk, it doesn't show anything, which is very good as you can quickly find items just by its name or if you know its ID. Or even further, you want to see a specific subcategory of items, which is what the categories are for. You can filter it off by what category they are associated with. For example, if we click clothing, then it will only present clothing items. If we click red meat, it will only show red meat. And you can add multiple categories to filter. Another filter is we have our price range, where you can put a minimum and a maximum price to filter through. For example, let's decrease it a bit and increase. It's showing that we have George Dons, which are £250, which fits the price range. But if we go underneath 250 for the max, it disappears, showing it's working perfectly and accurately. If they don't want to use the range, we can just input it themselves, which would just do the range for them. Which, that's all it is. But if you want to filter it alphabetically, or the value of stock from low to high or high to low, you can click on their name, table head, which goes alphabetically, click it again, then it goes the reverse order. Same thing with stock. If you click stock, it goes from lowest to highest, and then highest to lowest. You can also do the same thing to the back storage, which is amazing. But if you want to move items, for example, to the back storage to the front, you have to select the items you want to first move. Let's say Dr. Salt, Goat Milk, and George Dons. When you click the Move Items Front, which opens up the modal and how much stock they have, which you can't have a decimal or a fraction, otherwise it wouldn't be considered a whole stock, and you can't input a value which is greater than the stock you're trying to move, like 700. So let's move 49, 99, and 55. We click confirm. Let's check. Yep, it definitely moved. Which when we find Dr. Salt got more, George Dons got more, and Goat Milk got more. If you click the button when nothing is selected, it will show an error saying no item selected. The same premise is done with the front storage when you're moving to the back. Select items, click move items back, select how much you want to move, click confirm, and it moves. If you don't have any items selected, then it shows the error again, no item selected. For the last section, let's add an item. But before that, Let's add a new category for it. Let's say plant. We add category. Then we look at our categories and it shows it as plant, showing that it successfully got added to the database and is presented everywhere where the category is needed. Let's try and add another category called plant again, which when we do, category already exists, showing that you can't add the same name into the database. So it reduces redundancy. But to delete a category, you first have to find categories that have no item use of them. For example, let's say beer, delete category. It was successfully deleted. But if we try to delete an item that's being used, let's say clothing, it says category still in use. Let's try and add an item now. Let's say sunflower. We get in a price, let's say £12.99. Select our new category that we have. The weight for it, let's say 1.5 kilograms. How many you want in the back stock, let's say 600. And some small description. A big giant flower. And you choose an image which you want. Let's say flower. But before that, let's change it to only sun, which when we try to add the item, it says an invalid data input. Please make sure you have filled all fields and selected an image. It's done this is because you need to have the requirements of at least 5 characters. This is mostly to prevent anyone from, for example, pressing B and adding an item or BB. But let's put sunflower back. When we click add item, item added successfully. Which when we try and find sunflower, which is here, we can click on it. It shows us the image we selected and the values we've gave it accurately and correctly. But I have a feeling that the weight is not correct, so let's quickly also update that. So let's say 1 kilogram, which when we go back to it, works perfectly, changing it to 1 kilogram. But since it's in the back, let's move some to the front to show that we've successfully got those items in the back store and we want to present them to our customers. Which we do that, put in our value, press confirm, and it successfully moves the amount we've selected. And that's all the features that I have for my inventory system. Thank you for watching, and yeah.